How's it going? Welcome to Sunset Hound Brewing. My name's Josh. No idea how this is going to go. So, just decided to start brewing beer one day. And YouTube is a great way to get information out. So, hopefully, going to help you guys out. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll try and do this as often as I can. I follow a lot of other homebrewers. So, I'm going to maybe kind of take some of the things that they do and modify it to what fits me. And then it kind of spreads the knowledge there. But like I said, welcome. So we started brewing beer back in November 2020, about a year ago. I got back from my second deployment, and I was stuck at home in quarantine, and so I was going to Amazon and buy myself a Mr. Beer kit, and then I immediately hit up my sister. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to start making beer," and then she asked what system I bought. I told her Mr. Beer kit, and she told me to immediately return it and to go to my local homebrew store and buy a 1 to 5 gallon uh, setup or system. And so I was like, great, cool. So I returned that Amazon kit and bought myself a 5 gallon extract kit with the buckets, the bottler, the caps, all of that good stuff. And if you know me, I don't bottle. I still got this damn stuff in my box over here. And then me and my wife brewed that beer, like British Golden Ale, that delicious British Golden Ale, on my glass electric stovetop. And it took us like 8 hours just to brew the damn beer. And at the end of the day, I don't regret that, but I do not wish that upon anybody else. And if you brew like that, more power to you, because that is a process. Propane is king. And yeah, at the end of the day, I still use propane. I learned from that process. That same base recipe was our first recipe we ever did. I have actually used that to grow my flagship recipes day to day to day. And we've adjusted everything from the yeast to the timing to the temperature to the grain bill. We've switched to all grain for that recipe, and that is actually now one of our base flagship beers. So I can't thank that homebrew shop enough for actually giving us that base recipe enough for actually grow off of. Um, Now we use Beersmith, building our recipes in there. Taste of really good beers, trying to mimic it on our end. It's just kind of a really fun cat mouse game. You find a really good beer, you find out what like the grain bill is, and then what like a single hop, and you go from there trying to figure out what it is. It's actually really fun. Um, but and then waiting a month to weeks for the fermentation process again to get done, and then you carbonate it, dry hopping it. It's just so fun. Having people come over and you're so excited to give them this beer, and they're just like, it's beer, but you're like, man, I took weeks to make this beer. Uh, and that process is really fun because that 1 in 10 people you find that really enjoy the beer makes it all worth it. Plus, I mean, you're making beer, and no one says no to free beer. And if they do, they're wrong. But it's kind of why we got started into beer. And honestly, I save more money making beer than I do buying beer. So, oh boy, the brew system. Oh man. So, like I said, we started on a shit. I started with my wife's like two and a half. I'm not even sure what it was. It might have been a 5 gallon tamale pot on the stove, and like I say, glass top stove, and that took us forever to get done. It was crazy, and then over time we realized this was not going to work just for efficiency reasons, and we decided to upgrade. We went to a actual like no, we went from a turkey, like it was like $50 like Thanksgiving, like 35 BTU propane burner kits. Boil deep fried turkey in there. We started with that, and then over time we just kind of upgraded the pot to like I think we went to like a 10 gallon pot. I actually still got it right over here. Um, and then currently I use a I used to use the 10 gallon turkey pot for my strike water. because it's got that really cool little valve on there. Drop a little floating thermometer in there. That's how I get my temperature. And then I use a standard Lowe's, Home Depot, Igloo 5 gallon, 10 gallon uh, cooler, just standard liquid cooler. I put on a ball valve on that. I think it's like an eighth or a quarter inch output. Just screwed it in, and that's my mash tun with a false bottom. And then from there, I go into a modified half barrel kegel that I built. Weldless attachments, got a thermometer at about the 7.5 gallon mark, and then I got a thing that was also got a quarter inch ball valve at the bottom for pulling liquid off. Don't got a lid on it. And then from there, I got it's like a basic Amazon hop filter. One of these days, I'll go through it. And then but I did upgrade my burner though. I went to a burner one. I think freaking 210,000 BTU burner. I forget what it is. I'll put it in the comments below. But it's essentially going from a Bic lighter to like a Tesla or SpaceX burner. It's crazy. It's not if I get to the boil, it's if I'm going to burn off the wort, which is great because I can hit temp really fast. But at the same time, you got to go over temp though. But it doesn't have the stupid timer. It doesn't have anything crazy. But at that point in time, you got to make sure you do have extra propane tanks, but you're going to burn through a crap load of more propane. I haven't gone electric yet. I've thought about it, but I realized that propane is just easier with the setup I have, my location. Besides having to upgrade my outlets to get the additional output for like a 210 system, which I want to need for 10, 15 gallon batches. Propane is the way to go. I have a pre-chiller. I have a wort chiller. So I got a 2 copper coil setup. One goes in the ice bath and one goes into the actual wort itself. The one that goes into the wort itself is put in about 10 to 15 minutes prior to boil off to sanitize it. And then just kind of recycling it. And as soon as the water gets cold, I put that back in the ice bath to save on water because, making beer takes a lot of water. And then for my fermenters, I'm using a 7-gallon Monster fermenter. And then I believe I also got a 6-gallon. I think it's 7.5 and a 6-gallon. I brew beers and ciders. So if I'm doing a cider, I'll just use a standard pale ale bucket, just brewer's bucket. Cider's easy. Put in the bucket, no boil. Just kind of read your OGs, and once you get balanced out, you're good to go. Soon I'm going to adjust to probably brewing in a corny keg. But as the moment, the Vermonster is the way to go. They're cheap, they're easy. You can see it. You can snap on a thermometer outside, throw in the pantry, the closet, the bedroom, and you can see everything you're doing. And you can maintain just standard room temp stuff. From there, besides Brew System, I have, like I said, I got I think a 3.5 cubic foot freezer here, and another, I think it's like 6.9, 7.2 cubic foot here. This is my dispensing one, and this is my fermenting one. I got a log right here at the moment. You can easily fit a 7.5 gallon Monster in here. I got a blow up valve into a 1-gallon jug, and then the fan with my ink burner both. Oh, they're great. They're cheap. I mean, you're talking a wine cooler's gonna cost you a couple $100. These are gonna also cost you a couple $100, but it'd be a lot cheaper in the long run. So that's my brew system at the moment. So kegging versus bottling. This is a crazy topic here. I decided to keg versus bottle strictly because I hate cleaning dishes. I asked a couple friends for about a week or two, hey man, can you give me your bottles? And I just was just a pain in the butt. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I had a keg, and I was able to get a couple kegs off Craigslist. And I think by the end of the time, I had like 4 kegs for like $100. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna mess it up, I'm gonna mess it up now. So it's really not all that much different. You do got to invest in some CO2 cylinders. I mean, always have two CO2s. Luckily, I live 10 feet from my local welding shop. I think a CO2 tank cost me $25. And at the end of the day, it's well worth it. You're cleaning one container versus 51 bottles. You're not scraping off labels. I mean, OxyClean, Star San, PBW, anything will really speed up your process a lot. Kegs require one good initial cleaning. Once you spend a couple bucks on the tools, you got to get your long brushes for cleaning out the dip tubes. I mean, using any brush you can find, really. A good brush is just like a standard Lowe's, Home Depot toilet brush. Just make sure you mark it though, because you don't want that shit to happen. But just a good, the rough, they scrub off the tube that's at the bottom. They scrub off whatever's stuck to the sides. Let them sit for OxyClean for a little bit, and kegs are your friend. The only problem though is you have to invest in Keyser or fridge or some other sort of system you can use to dispense the product from. And that's a whole other video, is getting your taps, tap handles, hoses, hose length, CO2 manifolds, all that. We'll get there. I mean, even drip trays. People go for stainless steel. Man, I went from a $10 Harbor Freight just tool tray that does exactly the same things as a $30, $40 stainless steel tray does. But if you're looking for pretty, you'll spend the money. But if you just want something that'll work, cheap will get you there. Hey guys, so this is a quick video. Hope you guys learned something about us. Us homebrewers, we're all different. We all come from different parts of the world, parts of life. By the end of the day, we're all got one goal: is to make good beer, good stories, and good ways to learn from each other. So if you have any questions, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, apparently now YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, anything you guys see here, please let me know. If I don't know, I will definitely reach out to the people that I know, and we'll hopefully try and get you guys some answers. But at the end of the day, it's all about making good beer, good friends, good stories, and really that's about it. So have a good evening, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye. So when it comes to brewing experience, probably zero. Honestly, minus the fanboy beer tour, and I checked out Sierra Nevada, Firestone, a bunch of microbreweries in Colorado and Texas, and honestly around the country. That's about it. I understood you needed water, you needed grain, you needed hop, but when it came to the actual process of making beer, I had no experience at all. It just took getting a degree in YouTube and Google for me to just learn throughout the process of other people's mistakes, how to make beer. And there's many processes to make beer. You just got to find the one that works for you. Are you using electric? Are you using propane? Are you using reverse osmosis water? Are you using tap water? Fresh hop versus pellet hop? Are you milling your own grain? Are you buying your grain pre-milled? It doesn't matter. And as long as at the end of the day that you understand what you're doing, that's going to make great beer. The best tip I learned was, if you put something into your beer and you do not know what it does, that's where you're wrong. So if you don't know what that yeast nutrient's going to do, if you don't know what that Warflock tablet's going to do, if you don't know what that yeast is going to react to, don't put it in. Do your research, figure it out. That's going to save you a lot of money and time, and hopefully no spent beer at the end of the process. And that's the things I take away, and I pass on to you.